Hello and welcome to Think About It, where we have just two primary goals. One, to get you to think about it, and two, to simply make more sense than anybody at NPR. I'd like to begin today's video in a rather interesting way. The gentleman that you're seeing resides on the east side of Michigan in a town called Port Huron. He has decided that because he is so sick and tired of all the churches around him and their bells that ring at least once a day at high noon, he is going to make a statement by filling his yard for Halloween with some of the most offensive images you'll ever see, including depictions of a priest being hanged and a nun being shot. That's his way of protesting his disagreement with religion. Now, if you're wondering why on earth I showed you pictures of the genius from Port Huron, Michigan, it's really for one reason and one reason only. Nobody has issued a fatwa on the man. No one has called for his beheading of either him or his family or his relatives or anybody. In fact, I don't think the man's life is in danger in the least unless you consider it from an eternal standpoint. You see, my friends, this nation has so quickly and deeply sunk into a world of political correctness that a guy like Juan Williams, whom I really don't have that much feeling for, I guess he's a decent enough guy, but his political opinions couldn't be more opposite than mine, he comes out and says an obvious fact. He says, I get on an airplane and I see folks dressed in very clearly stated Muslim garb, and I take a second look. I get a little nervous because, after all, I hate to tell the girls on The View this, but we were attacked by Muslims. Sorry. But this guy in Port Huron can put up, under the guise of the First Amendment, some of the most offensive images you could ever conjure up. Nobody blinks an eye. Nobody calls for anything other than good taste to prevail. We could go back through the archives and see the number of times prominent national members of the media have come out and directly disparaged all of Christianity, calling very directly offensive names to Jesus Christ and to those who follow him. And none of those people were fired. In fact, they're still active in the media. Just check out David Limbaugh's book called Persecution if you need some more specific examples. And yet, Juan Williams says, I get a little nervous when I see folks dressed like that and I'm on an airplane. And he's canned instantly. Instantly. A man with a pretty good track record of service, even though, again, I'm not a really big fan, he's gone. And so today's Think About It has to ask this question. We already know there's a double standard, but it looks like we might be moving quickly towards triple standard time, because it would appear that right now, the single most protected group in America is not the African American. It certainly isn't the Christian. It appears to be the Muslim. And if that's the country you like, where you can't say anything about anyone, then you should be pretty happy. I just have one last question for you. You know, the doofus in Port Huron? Can you imagine if he lived next to a mosque and decided he was tired of hearing the call to prayer? Love to see the man's Halloween decorations and the fallout from it. Interesting country, isn't it? Think about it.